Welcome to The Best of Our Knowledge, a program focused on learning, education, and research. On today's show, we'll attend naturalization ceremonies for new Americans, to hear from some of the country's newest citizens, and to speak with high school students who hosted a ceremony as part of their education on government. And a $50 million endowment will support one college's new Native American and Indigenous Studies program. It's all next on The Best of Our Knowledge. You're listening to The Best of Our Knowledge. I'm your host, Lucas Willard. An upstate New York high school recently hosted a naturalization ceremony for more than 24 new Americans. I spoke with some of the country's newest citizens and some students who attended the ceremony in Rensselaer County. Students from Columbia High School in East Greenbush sang the national anthem to open the naturalization ceremony for 27 new citizens. The auditorium became a courtroom where federal judge Christian Hummel congratulated those taking their oath of citizenship.
You've chosen our country to come to be a part of, and to make it a better country. And we're a better country because of folks like you who come here and bring your energies, your ideas, your goals, your appreciation for what we stand for. So I thank you very much for letting me be part of your ceremony today.
The new Americans came from all over the world, including Albania, South Korea, the Philippines, Russia, Jamaica, Iraq, and other countries, and many have been living in the U.S. for years. Michael Thomas came to the U.S. for grad school from India 18 years ago. As the high school band played the Stars and Stripes Forever, Thomas said his father did not have the same opportunity to become a citizen.
My dad tried to come here in the late 80s, and he couldn't do it. And he's not around today to see this happen. He could never visit the United States. He always wanted to. So, in some ways, it's his dream that came true. But the reason for naturalization on top of all that was, my son's born here. He's American. He's going to be living here, and I figured I have to. There's no staying on the sidelines. I got to get in and participate in the democracy if I want to leave a better future for him, like my dad did for me.
Columbia High School principal Michael Harkin said seeing others take the oath of citizenship makes him proud of his country, and that it's significant for the students, too.
It's an important opportunity for our students to see where these people have come from, what they've overcome to become an American citizen. We're just born into it, and I think a lot of times we take it for granted. And our students that come to these ceremonies always come back impressed and really just surprised at what it takes to become an American citizen.
Senior class president Natalie Foss and student council president Emma Marchioni agree.
It was great, honestly. Seeing just their happiness and how proud they were of themselves made me feel good and hopeful of the future of America.
That just really makes me realize how special of a place our country is and how many people are excited to be here and want to come here, and just how big of an experience this is for everyone.
Sarah Bailey, who attended as part of her senior year participation in government class, called the ceremony moving, with the local chapter of the League of Women Voters on hand to register the new Americans to vote. Bailey plans to perform her civic duty in the future, too.
Yes, I'm planning to register to vote. I saw the women voters and I got the QR code for that, so I'm going to plan to do that soon. But I think voting is really important, especially if, new people who come to our country, get more educated and we just have a more educated community, then voting will be good.
Classmate Will Schwab also plans to register.
Most definitely. It's a big role being an American citizen, so I play it on it, yeah.
This was the third time Columbia High School has hosted a naturalization ceremony and the first since the onset of the pandemic. School leaders hope to continue the tradition in the future. You're listening to The Best of Our Knowledge. Dozens of immigrants recently became U.S. citizens during a naturalization ceremony in western Massachusetts. The Best of Our Knowledge's Josh Landis was on hand for the event at the historic Namkeeg Estate. in Stockbridge and spoke with several new Americans.
My name is Manju Chathani Gada. That's my new name, Manju Chathani Gada.
Why the new name? What's the old name?
Well, we've been married 14 years, and I kept my name, and I said when I naturalize, I will do the hyphenation, so it's official. I'm actually married to him now.
First name is Monty, Monty. Last name is Gada, Gada.
So obviously an exciting day. What does it feel like? I mean, this is a big moment in your lives right now.
It's a little surreal. We've been married since 2008, and that was the same year that I was naturalized, in fact. So this is really a dream that has been finally realized. Couldn't be more proud and feel like I have a partner now who can help cast our votes and elect those who we feel strongest that will represent our values and the values of those that we care about. So it's a very happy and humbling day at the same time.
So where were you naturalized from? What's your country of origin?
India.
I did both my degrees here, my undergraduate, my master's. I came back and worked here. And I've lived in many countries. I kind of see myself as a global nomad. And I said, eventually I will. And then I turned 50. And I realized, well, this is my country. This is where I'm going to live. And I really want to participate a lot more in what it means to be American. And also of late, there have been so much said about immigrants and the way immigrants have treated. And I really wanted to take a stand in a much more strong way. And I wanted my voice to be heard. And so I decided, well, this is the time. And so I want to vote for the next president. I want to vote for my state. And I thought, okay, I'm going to do it. And so no better time.
Since 2008, it's been a whirlwind 14 years since then. I mean, what's it been like waiting and having this ambiguity hanging over you?
Well, needless to say, there was a particular administration that we were so disappointed and disheartened to be governed by, and it really felt as though that this dream wouldn't be realized under that administration. And I am grateful to the universe and to the goddesses who removed that administration as quickly as possible, and it was the collective consciousness that helped to make that happen. So we are once again part and parcel of that collective consciousness who's ready to bring in a new era into this country and also on the world stage, which we desperately need to re-enter the world stage as a collaborative partner, not as an adversary, as unfortunately the previous administration has painted us as.
My name is Jorge Luis Cedeno Roman.
Fantastic. So where are you naturalizing from? What's your country of origin?
So I'm from Ecuador. I will say the town is Guayaquil. So yeah, I've been here almost 6 years ago. I was living in Great Barrington, beautiful town, for 6 years. So I will say this is pretty nice town, and also in this country too. So today I will say is my special moment. It's one more goal become to my real life. So I also want to say thank you very much for all the guys from here because they are nice people. I feel like a safety. This is something like it's not many words to say, but I will say thank you very much. This dream start about maybe 2 years ago, before the pandemic. And then I will say it was a lot of process, and also, take a book again, get the study, 100 questions, the interview, that was my 40-45 minutes, a bit nervous because you never know what can happen. But when the officer, she told me, you passed the test, I was so excited. I said, oh my God, I can't believe it. I was a little nervous, my hand was sweating. And then he'll say, okay, I made it. And then he said, all right, you got it. And then I was so excited to wait for see my family, my wife and my son. He said, okay, we made it. It's not me, it's for my family, that's what I did. So, yeah.
My name is Jonathan. I'm 11 years old.
So what was it like today to watch your dad take the oath and get sworn in?
It felt pretty good. He spent a lot of time trying to practice, always trying to do it. And then when the test finally came, he was so happy as soon as he walked out of that door saying that he passed. I remember for the past 4 months, he always asked me to like get like 10 questions out of this like practice sheet, like these flashcards to help him and see if he got the answers right.
Was it funny to watch your dad study like he was in school again?
Yeah, it was.
So yeah, I mean, it's kind of wild. He's like officially an American. What does that mean to you? Does that change anything for you?
Yeah, it means that he's probably going to try to do harder stuff. I know he likes to always better himself, like he's always trying to do better than before, so he's probably going to try and work harder.
Is there anything about the immigrant experience that you wish people understood better? Because obviously you've seen this whole process happen right in front of you with your dad. So anything about that you think people should understand better?
I don't really know much about it, but by the looks of it, I'm pretty sure some people it looks easy, but it's not really.
So what do you do here?
I'm here. I do like a landscaping service. So yeah, that's where I start my own business too. That's where 2023, that will be my best year in the USA, and also will say for my life. You know what? Because I become with a citizen. I start my own business. I bought my house. I got my family, which is my wife and my son. So I will say thank you, God, for everything. So yeah, and also I found the organization from Pittsfield. That was the good person. They gave me through this process to make a real. So there was the Immigrant Center in Pittsfield, and my tutor. Her name is Debbie. She gave me her time last night to get the study, interview, make a little example for the interview, be prepared before the real interview. So I will spend many time, and also I know many people through those process, and I made it. So this is wonderful experience. I want to say for everybody, just get in and just do it. You want, just do it. So don't be nervous. Don't be scared. So nothing happened.
What do you think this means for your family now that you're naturalized?
Oh, I will say this is the more wonderful surprise, because I went to my wife's citizenship almost 3 years ago, and it was like a simple, but being here with the family is something like a more exciting this moment. So make it like something grateful, something like a more happiness, and then we'll say that's what I say, this is my best moment in my life, because I can see my family. And also I made like a video call with my parents. They are from Ecuador, so that was like a completely, it's not like a physical day here, but they was through by the phone, that's what I was so excited to make. Display was opening to make a call. So
my name is Ana Sofia Semedo.
So why are you here today?
I'm here because my mom is officially a citizen of the United States.
How does that feel?
It feels great. It's a lot of hard work, dedication, and it's a very proud moment as a daughter. So we came to the U.S. in 2006 from Portugal, and through that we went through the whole immigration process. We became permanent residents, and then now she's being sworn in. So she's a very dedicated lady. She worked hard. She worked 2-3 jobs at a time to maintain the household, and it's just her and her 2 kids that came over. So it was a lot of pain, suffering throughout the moment, but it all worked out at the end because she is a citizen now. So I came with her. So I was one of the daughters that came with her. So just a very anxious moment as well, because it's like she worked so hard, and at times it was unbelievable to reach this point. But the fact that she's here today is just a very accomplishment. It's a big accomplishment, I must say.
My name is Sandra Maria Varela. I am from Portugal. I came to the United States in 2006. I am a citizen now. I have 3 daughters.
Now, your daughter was telling me that it's quite a journey to get to this point, and you came over...
Oh, yes. It was a lot. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of fight. It's a lot of drama. It's a lot of cry. But I made it. I have to go into school to be coming as citizen. So yes, I work a lot. Yes.
So what does it feel like today to finally have that journey?
Oh, it feels. I can describe it. It feels so special. It feels good. It feels free. It feels I can do more. It feels. Yes, a lot.
Someone like me, I've never done what you've done and gone to another country and become a new citizen. It seems like from 2006 now, that's a big window.
We feel we live in the scare. We feel we can go nowhere, we can do nothing because we know a part of America. Now I feel free because I'm part of America. I can do more. I can care more.
So what are the things you want to do with that freedom? Do you have any dreams or aspirations?
I have a dream to become a doctor, to become a nurse, to help people, to be doing more. Yes.
If you had a message to people outside of, this ceremony was so beautiful today, if you could tell something to the wider world about what today meant to you and what it was like to sort of be able to take that step forward and towards those dreams, is there a bigger message you want to share with the world?
What I can share with the world, I can share with the world, I am, happy, free. Because when you come into this country, you feel in the jail, you feel you can do nothing. But now I feel free, I feel I can enjoy, I can smile, I can scream, I can say, I'm from this country, from the United States of America. So I can do it more. What can I help you? I can do it more.
How are you guys celebrating?
We're probably going to go out to eat, just hang out with family and friends, and just celebrate her today and her accomplishments. So, yeah.
That report from the Best of Our Knowledge's Josh Landis. This is the Best of Our Knowledge. I'm Lucas Willard. Bard College in New York's Hudson Valley is using a $50 million endowment to broaden its work in Native American and Indigenous studies. A $25 million gift from the Goshman Family Foundation and a matching $25 million commitment from the Open Society Foundation will fund scholarships for Native American and Indigenous studies students, as well as faculty positions and programming. Bard College's American Studies program will also be renamed American and Indigenous Studies. The programming and efforts are being developed in partnership with the Forge Project, a regional Native-led organization focused on decolonial education and Indigenous art. Candace Hopkins is the group's executive director and will join Bard as Fellow in Indigenous Art History and Curatorial Studies. The Best of Our Knowledge's Jim Lebulis spoke with Hopkins about the changes coming to Bard.
Essentially, it's a transformational gift college-wide. We recognize both through my work at the Forge Project, where I'm executive director, and also from my own experiences in post-secondary institutions, that there's not always equitable opportunities for Native students working in the field. So with this gift, we understood that, one, it should support Native students and support them on the level of reducing barriers for tuition. So that means scholarships. That means also assistance with scholarships for living expenses. And I think that also means that if you are a Native student going to Bard, you want to learn from those people who not only share your life experiences, but whom are leaders in the field. So that means that this gift also enables the hiring of a new chair in Indigenous studies, as well as other faculty all through different levels. So at the junior level, at the senior level. It also includes funding for public programs. Because, it's one thing to have faculty, it's another thing to have students. This will enable guest speakers to come to speak on all different kinds of topics to Bard. It also allows me to work with students and teach at my alma mater as well. I think that what we see this gift doing is understanding that gifts like this can promote different relationships between patrons and education institutions. And so with that, we thought that it was very important that on one hand, there's name changes happening. So American Studies is now American and Indigenous Studies, so that these things are recognized both at a structural level and at the level of nomenclature and at the level of student support and faculty support.
And as you mentioned, you will be joining the Bard faculty as a fellow in Indigenous art history and curatorial studies. What exactly will you, or do you foresee yourself doing in that role?
I was a student at the Center for Curatorial Studies between 2001 and 2003. And one of the things that I think as students we lacked access to was access to particularly work by Native contemporary artists, aside from those relationships we're making ourselves. So we are positioning Forge as an extended classroom for Center for Curatorial Studies, We have a lending collection that's often on view within the residences at Forge. So the class will be taught both at Forge and at the Center for Curatorial Studies. I'll also be working with the Center for Curatorial Studies to build out archives, understanding that access to knowledge, to archives is very key to student learning, as well as access to art. And every year I will teach a course at the Center for Curatorial Studies. And this fall and through next year, I'm working on curating a major exhibition on contemporary Native art, looking at also political and social histories that shaped exhibitions from the 1960s to today.
And you've mentioned it a couple times, the Forge Project. You are the executive director of the Forge Project. Some of these initiatives that BARD will be undertaking have been developed in partnership with the Forge Project. Could you detail for our listeners what the Forge Project is and what exactly it does?
So Forge is a new organization. We are a little over a year old. We're a Native women-led organization that focuses on fellowships for Native cultural workers in the United States and Canada, working on things like decolonial governance or even experimental music, seed saving, for example. And we host 6 fellows a year at the residences at Forge. We do programs in decolonial education and Indigenous-led education, and we have founded a journal as well called Forging. And so we're working in publication too. And Forge, I think, was created not only because they're in this area, in the Mohicanatuck Valley is another word for the Hudson Valley. There's a great absence of Native folks because a lot of people were displaced, and they were displaced to even as far away as Wisconsin, the Stockbridge-Muncie community, for example. And so with Forge, what we're dedicated to is increasing Indigenous presence in this area.
Earlier you mentioned the name change for Bard College's American Studies program will become the American and Indigenous Studies, but it's more than a name change, right? If I'm a student in that program or, looking at that program, what will this mean for the curriculum? What will be in front of me? What will we discuss that will be different than maybe what has been done?
Yeah, that's a great question. So what does the name change from American to American Indigenous Studies mean, particularly for students? On one hand, this is continuing work for Bard College. So Bard College has courses and classes in Indigenous Studies and have had for a number of years. So we see this gift a new direction as galvanizing work that they've been doing. On the other hand, I think when students come now, not only do they see the word Indigenous reflected in the name, but that comes with broad structural changes. One is the hiring of people who are leaders in the field, Indigenous faculty, people who are leaders in Indigenous studies. It means that there will be a really robust public programs that accompanies this gift that will not only, be accessible for students, but I think broaden public knowledge around all kinds of topics that we've been working on, in Indian country and within Indigenous studies more broadly. I think that it also means that with the hiring of faculty, it means that when students come, there's people who look like them. There's people that they can learn from in this field. It's not like they'll be coming and they'll be unmoored. So we're creating, I think, both a cohort of students and a cohort of faculty and a cohort of guests to BARD.
And I think it's important to mention for the listeners here that you are a member of an Indigenous community, correct?
I'm a citizen of Carcross-Tagish community, which is in Yukon Territory in northern Canada, yes. And Carcross-Tagish First Nation has also been a leader in self-governance. So I'm also taking some of those learnings, I think, and thinking about how these ideas around Indigenous sovereignty can also come to play even at the level of curriculum development.
And do you find that this is coming at a particularly important time. I asked that because obviously in Canada, the realization of what occurred regarding the residential schools, the Pope visited Canada this year to recognize that. Do you find that this is a particularly significant moment for this shift at Bard?
Absolutely. You just mentioned, Jim, broader sociopolitical shifts, both in Canada with regards to the acknowledgement of the history of residential schools through the Truth and Reconciliation Commission. My grandmother went to a residential school, so that was very personal for my family. I think with the United States, we're seeing and witnessing greater shifts as well. One, of course, is quite obviously for me anyway, the hiring of Deb Haaland as Secretary of the Interior. What does that mean? What does that mean for recognition of Native rights? What does it mean for even broader public recognition of the fact that in the United States, almost every single treaty with the U.S. government has been broken? So I think that if we move towards, a broader understanding not only of histories of the U.S., I think that we all shape different collective futures, particularly as it concerns Native people here. So I think it's a really opportune moment. It's a really different, I'd say, environment from when I first attended Bard. I think that folks now know the kind of deeper histories of these lands, but I think that, these kinds of programs at Bard are really future orientated. They're about, fostering student knowledge, fostering shared understanding, because all of those things I think are incredibly important for how we even define the United States now, how we even define what is America now.
Candace Hopkins is the executive director of the Forge Project and will be joining the faculty at Bard College as Fellow in Indigenous Art History and Curatorial Studies. Candace, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Jim.
That's the Best of Our Knowledge's Jim Levulis speaking with Candace Hopkins, executive director of the Native-led Forge Project. This has been The Best of Our Knowledge, episode 1678. The Best of Our Knowledge is a national production of WAMC Northeast Public Radio. Thanks to associate producer Jody Cowan. Our executive producer is Dr. Alan Shartok. To hear past episodes, visit our flagship station's website at WAMC.org. Until next time, I'm Lucas Willard.